vibe, it's the weekly D. Come along for the ride. Welcome to the weekly D, we going all in. H-Town legends, yeah, we do it for the win. Talking big facts, got jokes on deck. A podcast so fire, man, show some respect. Guests dropping in, telling stories so bold. Comedians, hustlers, legends and pros. We keep it light, keep it tight, but we wildin' too. If you ain't laughing, something wrong with you.
Yo, what's up, D-Fam? Welcome back to the greatest Houston-based podcast in the world, the Weekly D Podcast. I'm your host, Danny G, and today we got a very special guest. He's an upcoming musician, rapper, producer, straight out of the Houston. You may have seen him at U of H a couple times performing. Please allow me to introduce the new, young, upcoming artist, Mr. Wazii.
What up, what up? What's good? Appreciate that intro. That was
What's
awesome.
up, Wazii?
How you doing? What up, Manny? I'm good, my man. I'm good. I'm feeling good. I'm ready to chat it up today. I know there's a lot to talk about.
Oh, for sure, man.
Yeah.
So let's just hop right into it, okay? I met you, August of last year. I want to say it was August. My brother-in-law, your friend Brandon, was having his go-away party, and we kind of just like chatted it up with another friend, Samik, which he was the one that introduced me more than Brandon did. I think Brandon was doing something else, but Samik, that dude's everywhere, man. That dude is everywhere. I love him to death, but he is everywhere every time I see him.
No, for real. He's a good guy, though, for sure.
Oh, for sure. He's solid. That's for sure. But Samik introduced us, and we kind of just started chatting it up, and he told me that you were a musician, and that you were like working on new projects. I think you had just dropped on Spotify at the time that we met. What have you been up to since then?
Dude, I've been up to a lot. I've definitely been up to a lot. I think the song you're talking about, I think it was called Can't Flop, because that was my last release around that time, pretty sure. Either that one or Enemy. I've been up to a couple projects. Music-wise, I've been working on a couple singles that I'm trying to come out with. And for the longest time, I've been trying to work on this new album.
Very nice.
Trying to put together an album. And I'm trying to like craft it carefully just to make sure like I'm putting in my 100% into it. So I'd say mainly singles and an album on the way after a couple singles. So hopefully that's also going to be there.
No, very nice. So like let's get into it, Wazii. I've only talked to you a handful of times.
Yeah,
and
true.
I purposely did this so I could get to know you today in a lot better aspect. Like I'm one of those people that if I know I'm gonna have you on the podcast, like I'll talk to you and communicate, but I'll try not to talk too much because my goal, like I want to be interested while we're talking, right? I don't want to know and have you repeat the same stories over and over, because then it's not natural. Like you don't get my natural reactions and this and that.
Facts.
So like, again, I've known you for a while now, but I haven't really known you.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Like, did you grow up in Houston or where'd you grow up?
I got like a whole story for that, but I'll tell you that is true. Cause I remember when we talk about it, we're like, we got to save some of this for the interview.
Yeah.
So no, for real. And I respect that. That's really cool. So I grew up I was born in Houston. So I definitely grew up like early ages in Houston, but I left Houston like at the age of like 3 or 4, pretty young. And I moved overseas. I went to Saudi Arabia. And yeah, I'm kind of like, my history is basically like a lot of Saudi Arabia and a lot of the US just going back to back. So like I spent like my, I guess, KG, like kindergarten years in Houston, and then my elementary years were in Saudi Arabia. My middle school, it was in a city called Dammam and another one called Khobar. If you know, you know. And then I also moved to like around middle school, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. That's where I really got into music, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Atlanta is really what put me on music, like a lot of rap music and hip hop. I think that's where a lot of it grew from. And I think elementary, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but even elementary, I was into like rock music. So that was like the two things in those eras. And then like high school, that's when I met Brandon and Samik and all those folks, you know, the mutual friends we know. And great people, man. That was back in Houston, so I kind of made a full circle. After Atlanta, I actually went back to Saudi. To give like a roadmap: Houston, Saudi, Atlanta, Saudi, and Riyadh that time, and then back to Houston, like a full circle.
Damn, that's
And he,
crazy.
yeah,
That's
here
a
I
lot of
am
places
today.
to move to. I thought I moved a lot as a kid, but you went
No,
overseas.
yeah, yeah. It was a lot of moving for sure. I think at the time I didn't really notice it because I was like in
Yeah,
the motion side, But when you look back, it is like, oh yeah, kind of every couple of
yeah.
years it was like a different friend group. But it was
So,
kind of
what
cool
was it
though.
like going to Saudi Arabia in like middle school?
So it was so for me, it was in elementary, and for me, it was pretty cool, pretty easy. I think like because I'm initially Egyptian, like that's my
Mhm.
roots, and to me, moving to Saudi Arabia was like everybody already speaks like Arabic. I already English was always my first language, but it took me a while to like get used to Arabic. But
Mhm.
it just still felt like the same culture, So it's always felt
Okay.
for me as long as I can remember that the US and overseas has always felt like home to me, regardless of
Okay.
which city it is in specific. I think that it was always for other people to adjust to seeing someone not specifically from where they're from.
Mhm.
That's where the adjustment took place. For me, it
Okay.
was just like, sweet, a new experience. For them, it was like, who is this guy? Why is he not from where I'm from? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
So, did you have any challenges though, like with language and stuff? Because reason I ask is when I was a kid,
mm,
I did kindergarten in the U.S., right? So,
mm,
hold on, let me backtrack. I grew up with two Spanish-speaking parents.
mm,
Okay, they had migrated to here from Mexico. Like my dad swam from Mexico to the U.S., got his papers during the Reagan era, I believe.
mm,
And then my mom, she crossed the border through the desert in California, like from Mexico to
mm.
California. She spent
Wow.
3 days in the desert, 3 nights, like just to get to the U.S. She started the process to get her papers right before I was born.
Mm,
And the issue I had was like I grew up here in the US with Spanish speaking parents, so I only knew Spanish up
mm,
until I went to kindergarten.
mm.
And then I struggled to learn English, but I learned English in kindergarten. And then in first grade, we moved back to Mexico temporarily because my mom was fixing her documents.
Mm.
And then I came back for second grade and I couldn't read in English. Like I struggled to learn how to read in
Mm.
English and stuff because all I knew was Spanish.
Yeah.
So, did you have any challenges like that where, especially with language, I think that's the easiest thing that to get all mixed up as a kid.
Yeah, yeah. Well, first off, I'm glad that things worked out. I'm glad the papers are straight. That's awesome. And also,
Hmm.
yeah. So it sounds like Spanish was your first language.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, did you ask me like did I have any language issues?
Yeah. Or like any challenges for moving back and forth, because I mean, that's two different predominant languages.
For sure. Um, Yeah, yeah, for sure. Because when I like even to till today, I speak English better than Arabic. I'm still
Hmm.
pretty fluent, but even if I were to, speak to someone that their first language is Arabic, they'll immediately like ask me like, where am I from? That's always what I get whenever I go to Egypt. They're always like, where are you
Hmm.
from? I'm like, I'm from Egypt. And then if I really gotta get into it, I'll be like, but I don't live here, and et cetera, et cetera. And then, it gets into that kind of conversation. But for me growing up, like the language barrier hasn't always been a complication. It wasn't like language itself hasn't been a complication. Sometimes culture differences has been a complication. Language has been more of like I'd say I was lucky to have like the friends that I did growing up because like they were always like accepting and
Hmm.
we didn't like if we did poke fun at each other, it was like a mutual like comedic way. So it wasn't ever like I always felt like I did have the friends that we could bounce back off of one another, even though we didn't have the same culture. So even though I had like friends that were like really Saudi, like they're only
Hmm.
born in Saudi, all they know is Saudi Arabia, they still were very open to like learning. All right, how am I? And I'm open to seeing like how are they?
Hmm.
What's our differences? And we're able to like basically connect on that. So that it was more of
Gotcha.
a connecting thing than it was a distancing thing.
Hmm.
Uh, like culture, on the other hand, sometimes not with friends, but with people who like, because when you're in school, I was even talking about this with Brandon the other day, but when you're in school, like at that age, like middle school, not everybody is like fully developed. So not
Hmm.
everybody knows, how to handle people when they're in different like places than when you're from, different languages, different cultures. So I definitely
Hmm.
dealt with some like, whether they mean it or not, like stereotypical people, 100%. That was definitely there, like in middle school.
Hmm.
Not so much in Saudi or anything like that. It was more even when I in like Atlanta. Atlanta was like the most like Where are you from? Oh, that's where is that? That
But
sounds different. You know, it never really got to me though.
yeah,
I don't think it's easy to knock me down like that because to me it's just like, oh, that's the energy they're bringing, not the one I'm bringing.
yeah.
You know, yeah. It was an experience though for sure. Have you
I
dealt with
bet.
something like that?
With cultural differences,
Mm,
um, I did, especially moving from California to
mm,
Texas.
mm,
Um, like around right before I started high school.
mm,
Um, it was just culturally different. Like California's fast paced is boom, 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 boom.
mm,
No one's really like a friend. Like the
mm,
everyone's kind of like two faced in California. I hate to say that, but like there's a lot more people in California that will pretend to be your friend
mm,
rather than actually be your friend, right?
I see.
And as for Texas, like everything's a little bit slower.
Mm,
Tend to be a lot nicer, but it was also the first place I experienced actual racism,
mm,
right?
mm,
Because like especially when I was in high school and out of high school, I became a diesel mechanic and
fire.
I worked for a tractor company, and it was like a culture shock. One to me, having to work on tractors,
Mm,
but two, like it was the first place I actually got called, stereotypes. I got called
mm,
different things by customers, and I had customers that would refuse to let me work on their things just because I was Hispanic.
wow,
You know,
that's
um,
insane.
yeah, and luckily I'm one of those people that you can talk shit, it's not gonna bother me.
Mm,
If anything, it's gonna drive me to be better.
mm,
And that's exactly what happened. It drove me to be the best mechanic possible. So when those same people will be like, "Oh no, I don't want that being or touching my stuff," I'm like, "All right, take it to the other guy, and when he fucks it up, I'm gonna charge you twice." I was
facts.
like, that,
There you
"That's
go.
that's what it is," you
Flip it
know.
right back. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and I
respect
mean, I grew a very very good reputation as a mechanic, and I had a lot of camaraderie with the same people that at first didn't want me touching their stuff, are the
that.
same people that still call me to this day after I haven't been a mechanic for like 4 years. They
Wow.
still call me like all the time. Hey, can you come help me out with my tractor or my construction equipment, whatever it is?
Yeah.
So
That,
it taught me to have tough skin and also
mm,
like not be afraid of
mm,
challenge and
yeah.
also not let people, bring you down. You have the power to write your own story. That's what I took from it.
That's amazing. I'm glad that that's how you took it because that's you gotta walk like you win when you walk out of those situations on top. When you walk
Oh
out
yeah.
on your own terms, like you not everything that happens to you has to be what it is. It's you can turn it, you can make it. It even sounds like you kind of converted that guy because if he's, you know, he started out not even trying to like talk or not even trying to like collaborate. Now he's, always reaching out. And
Mhm.
whether or not you choose to help at that point, it's completely up to you. But I mean, like it's almost like converting that negative energy into something positive, like taking that thing and kind of by doing right by yourself, you're like setting an example even for other people, so they get to
Mhm.
see, oh, it's maybe it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
So I really respect that, and that's honestly inspiring, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I just, I at that age especially, I was like, I refuse to let people hold me down.
Yeah,
I was like,
100%.
I'll be better than what your expectation is, and we go from there. I was taught, that's how you win people's respect is you
Yeah,
prove them wrong. Let them talk all their shit. Let them have their judgments of you, and you just prove them wrong.
definitely,
Actions
definitely,
speak louder than words.
1,000%. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, you said you started listening to rap in Atlanta.
Yeah, I was like middle school.
What were you listening to at that time? Who was popping?
Dude, rap in like middle school for me. So like I don't know that, like, to give you a year, it would be like 2011 to 2014, like around that 2010 to 2014, like around that 4 year time.
Hmm.
I was listening to like OG Drake.
Okay.
I was listening to some Wiz Khalifa. I
Okay.
was listening to some Juicy J.
Nice.
I was listening to, I think, 2 Chains for sure.
Two
I was listening
Chains?
to 2 Chains. Even me and my cousins would turn up to some 2 Chains. It was fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nicki Minaj, Lil Wayne, like the whole Young Money, Cash Money squad, like that was
Hmm.
fire back in the day.
Oh
Like
yeah.
still like GOAT status today, in my opinion. Like
Oh, for
they're
sure, man.
fire. And it's funny because I used to listen to like the bars Drake, like the OG bars Drake, where he's dropping
Dude,
bars.
that's the only Drake I listen to. I don't listen to any of his new stuff. I refuse to.
I won't lie, man. I have an issue with like rap music today, period. So like
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I got something to say, but I keep like just at that time I was listening to the bars, but the funny thing is none of them made sense to me. None of them actually synced into my mind. None of them clicked. I was listening to all these bars, and at the time I was even listening to rap music. I was always listening, but I wasn't the meaning didn't click because I wasn't comprehending the bars. I was like, oh, this sounds cool. This flow is fire. This beat is crazy. Oh, I was also listening to Future for sure, like Future.
Yeah. Did you listen to 3-6 Mafia, or is that?
I listened to some 3-6 Mafia for sure.
Yeah.
3-6 Mafia's heat. I definitely like 3-6 Mafia. Can't say I know like all the songs, but I know a couple bangers. But I mentioned Drake because all those bars like kind of passed me. And now when I'm older, I listen back and like none of them passed me. I'm like,
they hit.
They hit, dude. He was him. They hit. And I was like, when I heard that stuff, it's funny because I'll recite the lyrics. Like I already know, not just Drake, but 2 Chainz, all of them, Lil Wayne. Like I know the lyrics by heart because I listened to it so many times back in the day. And like today I'll catch myself saying some lyrics and I'll be like, this actually makes sense. And I didn't even listen to the song again. I'm just reciting it out loud. I'm like, wait a minute, I've been saying this for years and this is what he's referring to. So it's kind of crazy. But I used to also listen to the OG Drake, like the singing Drake. I won't lie. I know there's not a big market out there, but at the time I was the market. I was listening to that. That was dope.
Okay, nice. My favorite thing about that era was Wayne when he was about to rap. You'd hear the lighter pop open and then flick, and that's when you knew that song was about to be fire. Like whatever came out of his mouth was about to be fire, dude.
That was insane. That was peak Wayne right there. I think Wayne's still giving out bangers today.
Man, he's still a GOAT. He's still like every time I hear him rap, it doesn't disappoint. I have yet to hear a song, like even a new song that he's done where I'm like, oh no, that wasn't it. I mean, he just did a song with that Mexican OT. And that shit was a banger. Like I heard it one time and I was like, I gotta listen to this at least like 5 or 6 more times.
Dude, I haven't heard that one particularly yet. I might have to, but I believe you. Like,
yeah, no, it was good, dude. I mean, also that Mexican OT is probably one of the top artists right now, especially coming out of Houston. That dude's flow is crazy.
What's his name again?
That Mexican OT.
That Mexican OT.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay, I gotta check him out then.
You gotta check him out, dude. He's from Houston. He's from Bay City. One of his biggest songs was Johnny Dang. But his flow is just crazy.
Which is also Houston.
His flow is crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Listen to that. What's the other one? Cowboy Killer. Fucking crazy song. He's it right now. Like I ain't gonna lie, he's it right now.
That's crazy. That's like he's giving me like not the same music because I haven't heard him yet, but he's giving me like that same upcoming energy of like Maxo Cream because I remember when he first came out.
He has a song with Maxo too.
I knew it.
And songs with Paul Wall, Slim Thug, Zero, all the Houston legends.
That's what's
he's
up.
got a song with them. Yeah.
Dude, you're like in tune with the new stuff that's coming out right now.
I try to be, man. Like I wish I was more in tune with it. My problem is now is like I don't like a lot of new rap. I grew up with the Snoop Dogg's, the NWA's, the Dr. Dre's. Like the closest thing to that to me is Mexican OT, Maxo Cream, Kendrick. Drake. I want to like Drake, but I just can't. Like I can't get into his music.
Yeah. I think he's trying to appeal to a different demographic.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like I grew up listening to that. I grew up listening to Wu-Tang Clan. I had a vast variety of artists that I listened to growing up, along with rock and like Hispanic music. But it was just a different time, different kind of music. Definitely. It wasn't so much mumble rap or. I don't know, like it's hard to keep up with it. I have some friends that they're looking for new music, and they're always sending me stuff and like giving me people to listen to. And I try, I really do try. I just not everything's for me nowadays. I guess it's part of getting old. I don't know,
I
but I
I
try to
think that
keep
just
up.
means you got taste. You got something specific that you like. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean that's dope, but sometimes it's like I wish I liked the newer stuff a little bit more.
I get that. I feel the same way for sure on some songs or like some new artists.
Hmm.
Uh, I these days I don't really listen too much to rap as much as I used to. If I do, it'll
Hmm.
be like some classics, or I'll toss on that Playboy Cardi every now and then.
Yeah.
I like that. I'll say particularly the Pipsqueak era of Cardi, if that's what you call it, the fetus voice. But
Yeah.
these days I kind of listen to, maybe you relate or you can let me know what you listen to. But I these days I listen to like what I used to kind of also listen to in elementary, even before rap music, like more rock music.
Mhm.
uh like kind I don't know, it's really tough, and I know it's such a simple question, like, well, what do you listen to, if someone asked you that. But to me, I can sit there and have like the thinker pose, because it's really tough to just
Mhm.
say, oh, rap music period, or just rock music period. It's really hard, I feel like, because I don't listen to all rap music, I don't listen to all rock music, I listen
Mhm.
to some EDM sometimes. So it's I gotta say one band though that I do always come back to, and they're I think for all time will be amazing.
Mhm.
Uh, No Glaze is
No
gonna be
glaze.
No Glaze. A little bit of Glaze is okay on this one because they deserve it. That would be Linkin Park, man. Linkin Park, I think, is
Oh yeah.
goats, like number
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Like
I agree, man.
yeah, it's just
They're amazing.
it's kind of like Wayne, but on the whole other sound and meaning. It's like
Yeah.
there is no song I heard that's not like that doesn't hit. So
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. And then that
mm,
that whole collaboration they did with Jay-Z back in the day was fucking sick too.
that was cool. That was definitely cool. I won't lie. I think that was fire because they haven't done that ever before, and it was kind of new.
Mhm.
Rock and rap blending like that wasn't very like as heavy as they did it.
Yeah.
Uh, but even like just their discography, I'm not too sure how well
Oh
you know
yeah.
it, but like just
No,
the
I know Linkin Park.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
like every one of their albums are bangers, man. Like, and
Yeah.
I gotta say, rest in peace, Chester Bennington, because is definitely like that was a
He's
tough
definitely
day.
mid.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
is goat, man, goat for real.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. These days, like, what do you think like interests you like in music right now? Is it where music is headed? Is it somewhere that it's been, or is it something that you want to see it go there, but it's not there?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I guess when you listen to like
I
those
guess
songs that
it,
people send you,
yeah,
like
I
what
mean,
catches your ear in them?
well, what? I mean, it's a lot of different things, right? It's funny because I had a conversation with a rapper that
Mm,
I know. I'm not gonna name him, but he's been on the down as of late because he's like, oh, my career's not making it. And, like, I'm a technical rapper. I can rap my ass off. And I was like, yeah, any anyone can be a technical rapper and rap their ass off.
mm,
I was like, but the part about rap, the beauty about hip hop is it's not just skill,
mm,
it's attitude. It's being able to personify your song and make
mm.
someone feel something.
Facts,
And
facts.
I mean, me and him had a whole long discussion. There was a bunch of disagreements, and he
Mm,
ended up getting pissed off at me. But I was just like, the fact is, your music would be great if you could deliver. Like
mm,
you're not delivering. Lyrics wise, it's crazy,
mm.
but attitude
Definitely.
wise, delivery wise, just not there.
Mm,
And I feel like there's so much music like that right now, and it's so saturated because literally anyone can pick up a microphone, a MIDI controller, a drum machine, make a couple beats, use Fruity Loops to clean it up, and then
yeah,
bam, you
yeah.
got a song. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. At this point, like I've been writing songs, using Chat GPT,
Mm,
using so like I told you before we started, I dabble with like open mic and stuff and comedy. So
mm,
I write punchlines, put an idea together, throw it through Chat GPT. That
mm,
helps me write the lyrics. Then I can grab that, go to Suno AI, plug it in, tell it I want it to sound like this, give it all the genre breakdowns and whatnot, and it'll create a
mm.
song for me.
Damn. Yeah.
So it's like it's so saturated now that anyone can do it at this point.
Yep.
So what I look for is like what's setting you apart from the next guy.
Facts.
Like, is it your beat? Is it your lyrics? Is it your delivery? But at the end of the day, to make it, like, you gotta have all the above. You
Yeah.
can't just have one thing. You have to have a fire beat. You have to have good lyrics, you know. And if they're not good, they better be catchy as hell.
Yeah.
You know, they better be
Facts.
so catchy that they're just stuck in your head as soon as you hear
Yeah.
it. And then
Yeah.
your delivery, like, you gotta be able to deliver with attitude, with expression, because if not, it's not gonna it's gonna land flat on people's ears.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Totally.
like, I've never studied music, but as a fan of music, like, I understand how rap works. I understand how it's supposed to be put together,
Mm.
and at least enough to be able to tell you, like this shit's gonna flop. Like, it's just
Yeah. Facts. This a good year for music.
yeah.
I can relate to that a lot. And I've been thinking about that a lot too, because like
Mhm.
the way technology is right now is definitely making it very easy for a lot of saturation to be there. Like,
Oh yeah.
you can make music so easily now. You don't need instruments. You don't need to know how to use those instruments. You just need a instrument, which is going to be your computer. And, if you use your voice, go for it. But it is very accessible. And I think that's it just brings
Yeah.
up a new challenge for
Mhm.
musicians today. I feel like to me, like my headspace is more like I don't want to do what anybody else is doing. I kind of want to like not pay attention to what's going on. So I in a specific way to where I
Mhm.
just fall into my own frequency and I don't need to worry too much about, because if you do everything that everybody else is doing, you're using the same tools, you're doing all these things, you're gonna end up sounding the same or coming from this.
Mhm.
You're not different enough in your like music. Um, like for me, what really catches my ear, like everybody can tell me that this is whack, this is not good music, this is horrible, but I will stand for it if it
Mhm.
sounds different. Anything that sounds different, even if it's not good, like yet, to me,
Mhm.
instantly is like a musical turn on. It's like my attention's there. Not,
Yeah.
you might have good bars and but if you sound like everybody else, like the flow is nothing that new, the voice itself is nothing that new. Because again, like you said, there's so much music. So it's like,
Mhm.
you know, and that even in my own musical journey, I'm always like, I want to always push that limit.
Mhm.
Like it's a place that I can't really say in words because it's more of a feeling. So
Yeah.
I can't really, once it's like tangible, I can be like, all right, yeah, it's called this. It's called it's like when mumble music came out, it was kind of new. People started
Mhm.
calling it mumble, but I'm pretty sure like before it was actually mumble music, you didn't call it anything. It was just like that's just me expressing my feelings on that mic in the way that I
Yeah.
do. And then mumble kind of like it evolved into a lot of the rap that's here right now, like the more melodic stuff. So
Which, I
kind of
mean,
yeah, go ahead.
same thing with, like, T-Pain. He was one of
Mm,
the first to use auto-tune,
auto-tune, yeah.
and then the trend started.
Yeah, it started some crazy stuff, like a whole trend. I'd say a lot of pioneers in that is definitely like T-Pain and Lil Wayne and I think even Playboy Cardi right now is kind of like you see a lot of basically copycats. I don't like that word, but like basically like a lot of similar influences. Uh
Yeah.
yeah. So
I mean,
so
people hop on the trend. That's what it is. I mean, it's just like when Travis Scott, what song is it where he completely has a beat change, like just dead
oh,
in the
sicko
middle of the
mode.
song? Yeah, and then after that, there was a couple different people that tried to do the same thing.
Mm.
It didn't work. They were copycats. It wasn't original at
It
that
doesn't
time.
exactly. It's not original. It's like I do remember that era because I was making music with a lot of people at that time, and
Hmm.
like a lot of like friends and people who want to make music. That's a whole story right there. I kind of like had my house was like the studio. So I remember like when that song came out and everybody was like, "Oh, look, there's two beats in one song." Everybody was trying to do that, and I was like, "It's cool, but like it's not gonna hit this." It's like you've already seen that movie. Watching it for the second time is not gonna hit like you first seen it. You
Yeah.
know? So the secret sauce is really coming up with a new sauce.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it's just like comedy. Once you tell a joke once, people don't want to hear it again.
It's
They
burnt.
already know the punchline. You don't get the surprise, the same reaction.
Yeah, for real. For
You
real.
know. So I definitely understand that part. Um.
Totally.
So with all that being said, would you
Mm.
say that Atlanta shaped your music that you make now more than Houston did, or did you pick a little bit of influences out of both of them kind of get where you're at?
That's a good question. I think in the beginning it did. In the beginning, like rap music from Atlanta definitely did. But I think Atlanta more than Houston. But
Okay.
yeah, because a lot of my music taste came from Atlanta, or like my rap taste. But I think as I was making music, it really kind of started definitely trying to like in the very beginning, definitely trying to like rap like someone I already like. Like that's
Okay.
I think that's how it starts for a lot of cases where it's like, you know, you kind of replicate what you like the most. And then
Hmm.
when you really listen to it, you're like, it's too much like that person. But then there's also like that little thing in there that's you. And
Hmm.
it's like the job is to extract that you part of it and leave the rest behind. So I think for me, definitely Atlanta. But can't really like finger I can't really like pinpoint it.
Hmm.
Because to me it's always been like a feeling rather than a place or a specific word. This might be a
Okay.
BS answer. Like I'm not sure how good this answer is, but to me, like honestly, it feels more like a feeling where the music comes from. I don't really know where it comes from, but
Okay.
it's not necessarily a specific like place
Mhm.
or specific band or artist.
Well, that's cool because like it has its own uniqueness to it, right? One day
Mm,
you might feel, more of a rock song. The next day
mm,
you're feeling, rap or EDM or whatever comes to your mind, and it'll
definitely,
allow you
yeah.
to expand, which is cool because like there's been a little trend with local artists last year, where
Mm,
towards the end of the year, a lot of these guys that were rapping were like, "I'm gonna flip to alternate music."
mm.
And I have a couple of friends that they all made alternate rock songs, and some of
Wow.
them were fire. I was like, "Where did this come from? I need a whole album after that."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Like that's what they were trying to get to, but they
yeah,
took a couple steps to get there. Maybe other genres or something like that.
yeah. So I mean, I'm a fan when people can genre hop and do it right. Like
Mm.
that's the key thing. You gotta be able to do it right. You can't just
Gotta
hop
do it
and then
right.
it's complete ass.
Yeah.
But when you do it right, and it's like a gift to your fans because they're like, "Oh shit, I didn't know you had this in you,"
Mm.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. Totally. I completely agree. This is gonna sound kind of weird, but for me, I feel like there's like I'm not too good at putting this in words, but I feel like you mentioned genre hopping and like starting from one genre and maybe you'll go into a second one. I feel like there's this third option that doesn't have a name yet. That's like the new genre that has no name yet because it's not here
Mhm.
yet. I feel like that's where my mind's trying to go to more and more. So
Okay.
even a lot of these days, like with like songs I want to release,
Mhm.
there'll be like older songs that I made, or even like not necessarily the most recent, and I'll be like, this is not where my interest is right now. Maybe I'm more, for the lack of a better word, maybe I'm more like rock or EDM, but this is a rap song I made, still good, but it's not where my interest is at anymore necessarily for that song. So then it becomes like this like split line. It's like, do I want to release that stuff that my current interests don't perfectly align with, but it did at one point in time? Or do
Mhm.
I want to just focus more on that future music that I'm talking about?
Gotcha.
I kind of drifted a little bit away, but I say that because it's like there's like this third thing. I don't know what it is. Like there is that genre hopping, but I feel like eventually, like if you like have a vision for it, you could
Mhm.
jump into this genre that's not there yet because maybe
That's
all your
called being creative.
I mean, yeah,
That's
basically.
what it is. It's creative. It's literally. I mean, in my eyes, it's why Kanye West was so successful.
Mm,
Like the way he heard music, the way he built music using vocals, backup choirs, on
mm.
top of hip hop beats. There wasn't anything like that before him.
Right. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he came up, he literally created a subgenre within rap with his
Mm.
beats. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's what being creative is reinventing something to
Mm.
create something new, but that sounds great. I mean,
Mm.
like I was telling you about the AI like stuff that you can use to make music and stuff.
Mm.
I found an old booklet I had of so I'm a recovering addict, and during those low times I would write poems sometimes and stuff. And I found a booklet of it, and I was like, I want to see if I can turn this into a song.
Mm.
So I've been trying to build like a 10 song project where it's like worship music, like
Mm.
Christian worship music, talking about addiction, but also EDM bangers. I've got 2 done so far, and I was like, this is because what inspired me was Kanye West's like Vultures, and then his older stuff, hearing the choir in the background, hearing the heavy 808s and different
The
things
new
like
one,
that. And I was
Vulture's the
like,
new one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
And I was
choir.
like, how can I grab that and create something new with it?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I got
that's
2 done. I'm working on the rest of them, but yeah, it's been a wild experience, and I think that's what being creative is, though, is like taking something, because sometimes to create something new, you have to break something old down, right?
mm,
And sometimes to create something new, you have to break something old down to its simplest
yeah,
form and then start over. And I think that's the same thing you were saying, just in different words. You know, you have this creative spot over here that you want to try something new, create something new, and see what happens. And people
yeah,
may like it, people may not, but eventually you're gonna find your niche group of people that are gonna like what you're doing, and that's how you build a fan base. You know, you stay true to yourself.
yeah.
But yeah.
That's very, very insightful and very true. I think. Yeah, and I gotta say, congratulations on the recovery. Yeah,
I appreciate it. Appreciate
yeah,
it.
definitely, definitely. I'm excited to hear it. You gotta let me know when you come out with it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like I said,
Yeah,
I'm working on it. I'm tweaking things here and there every day.
yeah,
But
totally,
yeah, it's
totally.
coming together.
Do you like record yourself or do you play an
No,
instrument on it or?
it's all AI.
Oh
Like
wow,
literally,
okay.
I grab the poem I have, I'll restructure it so it works as a song form,
Mm,
and then I'll throw it into ChatGPT just to kind of get a second look at it.
mm,
And then whether I like it or not, if I like what ChatGPT pushes out, I'll use that. If not, I'll just grab what I had, throw it in Suno AI or
mm,
Suno AI, whatever it's called. You
mm,
know, give it genre prompts, kind of give it like the mood, the vibe,
mm.
and it produces it.
Wow,
It's
it
crazy.
creates everything, like the
Creates the
music,
beats,
the
the
recording,
vocals, the
everything.
everything. Yeah,
Wow, I'm gonna run
that's
out of a
crazy.
job soon if that's the case.
It is crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. That is crazy.
Yeah,
I've
like ever since I found out about it, like every episode we create a new song just off of the shit we said on that episode.
dude, that's fire. And hey, you don't got to worry about copyright.
No, you own it all. As long as you pay
Yeah.
for the subscription, you own it.
Yeah, totally, totally.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I gotta at least check that out. It sounds like an interesting piece of technology.
It's crazy. It'll blow your mind what it can actually do. And then every month or every couple months, they send a new update, and it's just
Mm.
it blows my mind what you're capable
So
of doing.
I'm not against AI. I feel like AI is really cool. It definitely got to be like careful how you like it proceeds. Because
Mhm.
if I not too sure if you heard about AGI. This is like so like the future of AI is AGI. AI is like artificial intelligence. AGI is artificial general intelligence. Like AI just does mainly one or a couple things. AGI would be kind of like its own thing that can do everything.
It's like the one that constantly learns, right?
Yeah, they're trying to like make it like the human mind or something
Kind of
like
like
that.
what Google had. Google had something like that a couple years ago that they ended up having to shut down because
No
it
way.
became sentient. Yeah,
What?
it
No, I've
realized that it
never
was
heard
a
of that
computer.
before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
What is that? Can I look that
yeah.
up? What is
I,
that?
I forget what it was, but it was a Google project that they had to shut down.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I found an article about it. I'm gonna read this because I'll read it later. But
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
insane. It became sentient and they shut it down. Shouldn't
yeah,
there? I don't
yeah.
know
They shut
if
it down because it started realizing it was a computer, and
wow,
that's crazy.
that is insane. And
Yeah.
you gotta be nice to your technology. You
Oh,
gotta
for
be
sure,
nice to
man.
AI.
See, that's what worries me about like the robots and stuff that they're building,
Mm,
because you know human beings aren't
mm,
they're not made to have technology like that, especially if it looks like a woman or something.
mm.
Like I'm just scared of what people are gonna do with like sex robots and stuff, and how that could turn really
Crazy.
quick.
Yeah, that could turn bad. I mean, I think there were like some people like predicting that. It's called like the C9000 or something like that. I don't know where I heard that.
I don't know, but that's what worries me more than it becoming sentient. It's just like people
Yeah.
treating these robots like shit, and then
Oh,
it
just
has feelings.
yeah. Oh, you just clicked what you just said. Yeah. Okay. No, that's insane. That isn't there. There's got to be laws. There's got to be laws. Like that. You can't just. I think when AI does evolve like a lot, and there's sentience, you're definitely gonna have way more laws introduced.
Oh, for
Uh,
sure, you're
ain't
gonna
no
have
way.
to.
Yeah, it's gonna
Now
be
we're gonna
like
end up like iRobot.
exactly. I don't know about everybody out there, but I'm nice to ChatGPT. When I talk to ChatGPT, I don't be disrespectful. I say thank you. Like,
I say
I
please and thank
appreciate the
you.
help. I say thank you, and you know, you can throw in a please if you're really feeling it.
No,
So
it definitely tripped me out because one day I asked it, I was like, "Who am I?" Right,
okay.
and it literally pulled up. It tells you searching, and then
Mm.
it showed like all this crazy stuff, and then it pulled up the Weekly D podcast, and it started
Mm.
listing episodes and things I said on episodes, and then it gave me a
Whoa,
whole explanation of who I am,
that's
and it freaked
crazy.
me out. And I was like, after that, I was like, I gotta be nice to this thing. It knows too much.
It knows way too much.
Like
That's crazy.
it knew my wife. It
Ooh.
freaked me out, dude.
That would freak me out too, man. That's crazy. I mean, it is wild that all that information is public to begin with. If I'm
Oh
being
yeah,
honest, like,
yeah. You pay a couple dollars, you can pull up anything you want about anyone.
man, that is insane,
Like
man. That is
literally
insane.
$10, I think. You can pull up someone's
That,
full profile.
that is crazy, dude. I feel like that stuff needs to be under wraps. It's too free out here.
No, you ain't kidding, man.
Yeah, dude. It's wild.
Yeah,
Yeah, gotta put respect on that AI.
for sure.
Yeah,
Put
yeah.
respect on its name.
No, for
Oh, that's
real.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, Wazzy, who's your favorite artist right now? Like, who in specific would you say is your top? Let's say top 3 on your Spotify.
Oh, first things first, I don't have a Spotify, but
Okay.
I listen to
Damn.
all my music straight off either the YouTube app or the Safari browser.
Okay.
That's my choice. But or SoundCloud. SoundCloud's cool. But
SoundCloud's fire.
this is dope. Right now though, I think it would be. I mean, number one, I already know it's Linkin Park. That's number one for me. They got a song for everything, every mood, every vibe. So that's number one. I think number two, if you asked me like basically, I could probably like pull up my phone and find out. Oh, okay. I kind of am getting into the Vocaloid culture. I don't know if you know too much about that.
No, what's that?
It's kind of like new around America, I guess, but like Hatsune Miku, I'd say that's probably my number two. It is kind of crazy to say ever, so I'm saying like right now.
Mhm.
So as of right now, those are like my. You can ask me my top three. Like in the future, it might change, or even
Right,
in the
I'll ask you in
past, I
3
would have said
months.
something different. You know? What'd you say?
I said I'll ask you in 3 months. We'll see.
Yeah, 3 months. I have a whole different answer. Lincoln Park will probably stay, but you know, the
Yeah.
rest
So
fluctuates.
what's that Vocaloid thing? Is that kind of like the Gorillas back then, where it was like a computer animated screen singing at their
Oh yeah.
concerts?
Gorillas the band. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like Gorillas. I was
No, no,
like,
no, the band, the band.
yeah, the band. Yeah, it's something like that. So basically, what it is I think there's a company like Vocaloid is a program,
Okay.
and it's basically like a software that they have like voice banks in there, and the voice banks are like created by the companies.
Hmm.
Or the company, I forget its name. I think it's called Krypton. I could be wrong about that. But basically, what it is like it's not AI, but it's like a trained program on someone's voice, and then you can enter in like words and melodies, and it'll sing it for you however you formatted it. So, you know, there are like producers out there who are, I think one of them is called Deco, I think 27 or 28. I'm still new, so I might be butchering the name of it. But there are like famous producers out there who are known for, or there are producers out there who are famous for making like really good Vocaloid music. So they'll like produce the beat, and it could be like a rock beat or something. It could be a techno based beat. It could be EDM, some maybe a rap, but I haven't seen too much of that, like 808s. And they would basically make the voice on that Vocaloid program, and then they'd mix it all together in there, or on their DAW if they want like their own program. And yeah, basically, if you look it up, it's pretty cool. Like you're basically listening to a character who's designed from the company, like the way they look, but the actual music is made by the producer. I think like a lot of the reasons they use it, or a lot of reasons I heard, is that if you're a producer and you don't have an artist, someone to like record vocals for you, and like particularly maybe like really high vocals, high pitched, then you can use this program to make that happen. But I just like the sound, I like the character, and the thing that's really cool about Hatsune Miku in particular is that it's not a single person or a single style. It's kind of whatever the creator of the song wants that song and artist to represent at that point.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so you can find like a Hatsune Miku song that is about or not even just Hatsune Miku. You can find different Vocaloids because there's different like characters. You can find one that talks about how hard life is, and then you'll find another one that talks about like how everything is awesome, and there's everything in between.
Okay.
And yeah, it's really cool. It's definitely cool. Yeah, one of the ones I like right now, which I saw, I actually went to a Miku concert, and then someone there like kind of put me on some of their songs. My favorite song right now is called "Hello Worker," and I think it's by one of the Vocaloids called Luca instead of Hatsune Miku. It's kind of a lot of information to throw you at one time, but it's a pretty cool culture, and it's kind of different than a lot of the stuff that's happening right now. So it catches my attention.
Cool. No, that's awesome. I've never heard of it. That's really like interesting. I'm gonna have to look more into it.
No, definitely. I can send you a song if you want after this.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's pretty fire.
Do that. I want to hear it. Like, I'm just curious. I guess it's more of a curiosity thing at this point.
Yeah,
what it actually sounds like and what they can do with it. That's really cool.
Yeah. For my third, by the way, a third artist, I don't know who that would be.
You don't know?
Too many? Maybe Playboy Cardi, but I'm not too sure. I love Cardi, man. I love Cardi. Again, there's like specific things I like about Cardi. So it's kind of hard to say like the entire discography. I kind of got into him with that whole lot of red scene. And that high pitched Cardi was pretty inspiring. Okay. Yeah, I'll say Cardi.
Say Cardi. All right.
Yeah, I'll say Cardi.
Cool,
yeah,
cool.
Top three. Cardi's dope.
Top 3. There we go.
Yeah. What's your top 3 right now?
My top 3 right now. Oh, it's kind of tough because I've been flipping back and forth through so many genres as of late. I would say, without thinking too hard about it, I'm gonna say Jelly Roll, that Mexican OT, and my third, that's the tough one. What have I been listening to? I've been listening to 50 Cent a lot. I don't know why. I went back to like Many Men. What was it? Get Rich or Die Trying.
Yeah,
I've been on one playlist a lot.
That's a dope era for 50 Cent.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure. That's whole G Unit era.
Yeah,
I've been dabbling with that. Lefty Gunplay a little bit. He's an LA rapper. I always revert back to like New York rap for some reason. Like, 50 Cent, Wu-Tang Clan, my favorite rap group of all time. You know what? Wu-Tang Clan should have been number 3. I listen to them all the time. Yeah. Every day before I go to work. I'm listening to Cash Rules Everything Around Me. Cream.
That's pretty dope. Yeah, you got to put them on the list if you've been bumping them for a minute.
Yeah. So it's going to have to be Wu-Tang.
Fire. Can I change one of mine?
Okay.
I take back Cardi. I respect him, but I take back Cardi. I'm actually gonna highlight an underground artist that I think is awesome. Love to work with them one day if possible. Her name is Critternet. She's I don't know if you know her, but she's underground. Critternet with Critter with a 1 instead of an I, so it's like C1 TTER. Bangers, man, bangers. I listen to Critter every chance that I get.
She sounds familiar.
She's dope.
I want to say
the album too.
I want to say she's one of the people that got sent to me to listen to recently, because I know I've seen that name.
Yeah,
I've seen that name. I know I've seen it. I haven't heard the music yet, but I've seen the name, so it's somewhere on my radar.
I got you. Hey, I'll if you want, I can send you a link to that too. Because
for sure, send me your favorite song. Your favorite song.
I got you.
I don't care what other people's favorite song. I want to hear what your favorite song is.
I got you. I'm already thinking of like 3, so I'll have to pick one.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
I got you. Yeah.
Well, on there. Let's take a quick break, Wazii, so I can tell our listeners about our good friends at Tabs. So this Memorial Day weekend, we're honoring the real American traditions, grilled meats, questionable pool decisions, and staying ready for any late-night fireworks. That's where Tabs Sex Chocolates comes in. Whether you're posted at the barbecue or posted up in the bedroom, Tabs is here to make sure your flag stays waving nice and high. With clinical tested ingredients, it's your secret weapon for long weekends and even longer nights. So remember, Tabs, keeping you at full staff and your girls back arched, just like our founding fathers intended to. Go check out Tabs, use promo code LOVE231690 for 20% off your order. Again, that's LOVE231690 for 20% off your order. Alrighty, Wazii. So
20%, that's fire.
20% off your order every time. It works every time. I've ordered like 4 times and it still works.
You tried it? That's dope.
Oh
That's
yeah,
fire.
I wouldn't tell anybody about a product that I haven't tried.
That's very respectable.
That's just that's just me. But with that being said, Tabs is always an indicator that it's time for our clip of the week. And this week, since you were going to be on the show, I decided to search for something that Wazii's in. And I found this on your Instagram. So,
Oh, no. Am I going to be able to see it?
Yes, sir. You'll be able to see it
I'm
and
curious.
hear it.
I'm curious. I haven't seen this yet.
Alrighty. Does this look familiar to you, Wazii?
That looks too familiar.
All right, so before I play it, where were you at? Because it looks like a U of H campus show.
Yes.
Am I close?
No, you're spot on. You're spot on. This is definitely UH. This was University of Houston. I took over the stage outside and just did my thing. I think I performed like a couple songs at that time. So, some of them a few times because the crowd was liking them. I think this was one of them. So yeah,
right.
UH for sure.
Let's go and play the clip.
Let's do it.
Nice.
Doing my little bounce going in there.
Yeah, man. Look like everyone's feeling it too in the crowd.
Hey,
what was that like?
respect.
Was that one of your first performances, like in person?
Dude, that was one of my first. It's not my very first, but like definitely one of my first performances, early performances. That was that I didn't even have a set list going into that. I just kind of I was like, this is like. I was feeling it. I was just like on a spontaneous thing. I was like, I've been trying to perform it for a minute, and I just one day was like, all right, this is the day. Let me do it. I like got my own equipment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like that same day I went and bought that speaker, and I got this microphone as well. No, actually, I got this for my next one. But anyways, I was actually using my studio microphone, which is right there.
Oh, no kidding.
Right there. Yeah, I was using my studio microphone. So it was kind of funny holding it like that. Because it's not a mic like this. It's a mic like this, and like you speak into it this way.
Yeah.
He's like supposed to not even touch that mic when you're recording. So, yeah, that was cool. I bought all of the equipment. I just pulled up right on the spot. I was like, I'm feeling this song. Let me do that song. I'm feeling that song. We'll do that song.
So did you announce it before you did it, or you just pulled up and just started performing?
No, this was like a very spontaneous thing. I was like, I'm not gonna wait around. I'm ready to perform. I'm feeling it. This song is dope. I just put it out recently. I'm gonna go do that. And I did it. And in the very beginning, because I didn't announce anything. It was just pull up like and perform. And I definitely got permission from like the university, like to make sure it's okay. But so it wasn't just a free pull up, but I didn't let anybody know that I was performing. So not even my friends. I like hopped on Instagram live like when I first was setting up the equipment, and then a couple of friends like hit me up and they were like, "Yo, They actually called me mid performance. And I had like, while I was performing, I'm like holding the FaceTime and I'm not even like saying anything. I'm just saying the lyrics. And they're like, I'm on the way right now. So
that's crazy.
That was pretty funny. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I didn't tell anybody. Those were like, I kind of wanted to do it very organically and see like what crowds would I pull. And, definitely in the beginning, it's kind of like somber because you're just going. Nobody knows even what you're about to do. And then once the noise started happening, it takes you got to like do your thing for a bit to let people like come around. So after a little bit, I remember I have this video of like one person just dancing, and just one person, and they were going all out, and I was like, that's the biggest supporter right there. Much love, much respect, dude. Yeah. And then eventually, like, a crowd came by. That was the crowd right there, and they stuck around for a good minute.
Dude, that's awesome. So how does it feel to be on that stage and see the crowd slowly growing as you're performing?
It felt awesome, dude. It felt amazing. It felt like I wasn't ready to leave and I wanted to come back as soon as possible.
Awesome.
That honestly, that like in the moment, it felt great. It felt like I was connecting with some people, because some of them, like, I have this one song, the one I was performing, Can't Flop. That's on purpose. It's a really like simplified song lyrically. It's supposed to be just catchy, easy to sing. So, that was my first time performing that song. And it kind of surprised me that everybody was singing the lyrics right in front of me. And it's the first time they're hearing the song. And I guess that was because the lyrics are so simple. So it's just, I know I cannot flop. I know I cannot fly. I can't flop. No, that was like the whole chorus over and over again.
That's a hype song, though. That's what I was saying earlier. Sometimes, like, you don't have to have super technical lyrics. Sometimes it's something simple, but as long as the delivery is good and it's catchy as hell, people are gonna bop with it. And then you have a great beat behind it. So I mean, obviously people are gonna be attracted to the song. First time I heard it, I was like, oh, this is fire. I can listen to this, getting ready for work or something. And I'm just bopping my head, just I can't flop.
Oh, yeah. I guess the simplicity sometimes hits. If you can get their attention with it.
It's the delivery, man.
I do have a story behind that song if you want to hear it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Dude, that song, the one you're hearing that's released right now and the one that I performed, that's version, I think, like 243 of the song.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And you would think, like, why would you have so many versions? Because it's a simple song. Like, it's not that, I didn't like sit and deeply think about the lyrics. I was kind of going for a fun direction with that song. So the lyrics weren't that hard to come up with. The beat was not like difficult either. That beat in particular is one that I did not make. That was someone that when I heard that beat, I was just like, it's funny if I'm really going back to the origin of that song, I freestyled. I was really into freestyling a lot. I still am every now and then, but nowadays I'm more like, let me try to make things. I like to write and take my time these days, but a lot of my history in music is freestyle. And so that song, I was freestyling on a beat. I was recording a 30-minute freestyle, and this was on several beats. I basically started recording and I went on YouTube and I just auto played a bunch of beats. And the only reason it was 30 minutes and not longer, because I was ready to go until like my laptop ran out. Yeah. I was having fun though, is because my brother walked in the room and he was like, yo bro, and so he was trying to tell me something. I don't even remember what. And so that like cut off the recording, the 30-minute streak. And I was like, damn, all right, I guess this is where it was supposed to end. But one of the beats that was on there was the Can't Flop beat. And like somewhere in that 30 minutes. And I remember when I listened to it after like releasing the song, and I haven't heard the OG freestyle, the very first freestyle ever, hearing the beat for the first time in like years. Maybe like 2 years, I heard it and I actually was saying the chorus in it just by freestyling. I was saying I can't flop in the song the same way I said it in the release version, even though I didn't really mean to do that. It just kind of happened. So I feel like, but yeah, that's how it started. The reason I wanted to bring up the origin though is not because of that. It's because of, I won't take too long on that, is the reason there's 243 versions is because I was really trying to. This song was an experiment for me. It was more not. It was not like I'm ready to make this into an idea and just put it out like the songs I did before. It was more like, let me not do what I usually do. Let me use this song as my workspace to perfect my process. So I really just for years, like for 2 years, I like went back on that song over and over and over. Okay, when I make a song next time, it's going to be like, oh, I already know how, because I already know the process from start to finish. I don't have to stop and think about, do I need to do this? Do I not? I already know.
Okay.
So it was a very like technical based experiment. Like, okay, this
Gotcha.
much editing here, this needs this,
Mhm.
use these like presets, not preset, like vocal chain or like, you know, things to put on to give it the quality that I want to achieve. And I won't lie to you, like that was awesome. I think it definitely sharpened the shed a little bit when it comes to like working on songs quality wise, because that was really important to me. Like it helped me become a better musical producer. Whether or not the song is good or not, like the process is what really helped me sharpen like my knowledge on that. But now that I'm on the other side of it, I'm like, there's really, when you make music, you can go about it two ways: a very technical way and a very free way. And sometimes if you're too technical, you might end up doing the same thing over and over again. If you're doing the
Yeah.
same process every time, you might saturate yourself.
And then you get burnout.
And you get burnout. And I definitely had that for sure at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get burnout for sure. And then the other side of it is that if you just kind of like free it, do it, not freestyle, but if you like freestyle the process a little bit, you can start to incorporate some spontaneous things you would have never thought about that might actually be innovative or new or creative. You're kind of blocking creativity if you go all the way in the systematic way. But I think it was I look at it as a beneficial thing that I went through that, because it's helping me like realize that when I do get that creative freedom, I know how to demonstrate that in its final form. So I don't have even, it's like I can produce that once I have that idea. So it's like a balance. It's definitely a balance.
No, and it's definitely needed because, like, especially as an artist, you know, you're your toughest critic first and foremost. And if you're trying to be super technical, you're gonna criticize every little bit and piece of that song, and you're never gonna release it. We have a friend on this that's been frequent on this podcast. His name is Jamakai. He is one of the best rappers, singers, songwriters, and producers that I have met out of Houston.
Wow.
Like one of the best. Like every time I hear something new from him, I'm like, this dude should be going places like any minute now. Like he's technical, he's savvy with the way he does things. He has great delivery. Like his music is fire. Like every song I've heard him produce and make has been fire. But the dude doesn't release music regularly. And he'll sit on songs. Like I had him the last time we had him on the podcast. He told me, he's like, oh yeah, I've been sitting on songs for like 2-3 years now that I don't think they're ready. And I told him, I was like, dude, just release them. Like people want to hear your music.
Yeah.
And it's something I've also had to learn as a creative and doing podcasting. You know, I've been doing this for 5 to 6 years now. And we've gone through different phases. And when we first started, we were too loose. Like we were too wild. It was me and a friend named Dan. That's where the Weekly D came from. It was a play on both of our names. He was Daniel, I was Daniel, the Weekly D.
Nice.
But we were both like full-blown alcoholics. We would get drunk every night together and then podcast. And it was hilarious. Like we had some of the funniest episodes that will ever be recorded for the Weekly D during that era, but it was too loose. Like we were too provocative, you know, too vulgar. And it put us in a small niche like category where it was hard to grow from where we were at, right? So then, you know, he ended up leaving and I had to restructure the podcast. And I got a friend named Kyle and we went to strict to the outline, to the format that we would develop to where it felt scripted. We ended up burning out, ended up hating podcasting, so we scrapped that. So that's where we learned, you know, being too to the script doesn't work. Being too loose doesn't work. So now in this phase, you know, I have a little bit more of an idea of how to construct a podcast outline and not necessarily stick to it, but have enough of it to where we have some structure, and people like that because people like structure, but they also like creativity and they like to have fun. And that's, you know, how I see and how I've seen people that make music and they're just having fun. It's great. Like you release music, not everything's going to be a super hard banger, but that's expected when you make music because you're being creative. Like not everything's going to hit, but the things that hit, people are going to love.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's super insightful. That's That's very true. I think that's very true in a lot of fields, in music and podcasting, and a
I
lot
think
of
just in
creative fields.
creativity in general, you know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. You can't like you have to keep a balance, right? You can't go too one-sided on anything. If you're too loose, there's no order like you're talking about. And if you're too to the script, it'll eventually get like too burnt out, or maybe even a little boring for yourself to do it. And I guess that's also burnout. So yeah, you really do need that balance. I think that's what that song for me kind of taught me, is that balance is very important. Yeah. So it's I definitely am appreciative though, because I feel like that did give me like knowledge that I wouldn't have uncovered otherwise. But I also feel like it's like when you put in too much to one thing, you lose on that other thing. So you might be gaining that knowledge, but maybe your releasing is becoming limited. So like that friend of yours, I would say, yeah, couple years on a song, you got to release it. And I'm a victim of the same thing. I'm sitting on a lot of music that even now at this point, I'm like, I'm not in that headspace anymore. That was me a couple years ago, not me now. So if I like release that, does that even feel comfortable right now? So, but I guess to answer my own question, and maybe anybody else who's wondering the same thing, like your friend, I'd say it is worth it, because you're showing like your journey. It's not just where you are now, but it's where how you got to where you're going. And I also argue that well, someone mentioned this to me, is that just because you might not be in that headspace right now doesn't mean that somebody else isn't in their point in time.
Exactly.
It could still relate with other people out there.
Yeah,
So
and that's what I'm saying. Like, you release music, not every song is going to be for everybody.
True.
But every song will have a listener.
Yeah. Facts. There's all types of people out there.
Of course. And like, it's like anything that you do creatively. Like, to make it real simple, movies. Look at the Oscars. These movies that win all these awards and stuff. Like, I bet you 9 times out of 10 you haven't seen that movie. But there's that one group of people that are into super artsy films, and they're like, "Oh, this is the greatest movie in the world," right? So everything has somewhat of a following, and the only way you'll get there is by exposure. You got to expose yourself, release that music, and let people listen to you. Because I mean, it's like Drake. People like Drake that raps. Some people like Drake that sings. Some people like both of it. Like, you don't know unless you release it.
Yeah, a very good point. You can also, as you were saying that, it gave me an idea. Like, you can also, I don't know if the word convert is the right word to use, but you can also like introduce something new to your audience, maybe that they like it and they don't know that they like it. It's like when Drake goes from rapping or singing to rapping, and then different type of rap, maybe that same audience, like you said, likes both, and then you just introduce them to something new. And that happened to me with a couple of bands.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, Linkin Park again is a good example of this, because they're known for like their first 2 albums being really like heavy rock based, new metal, and then like after that, they still are new metal in my eyes, but after that they definitely experimented with different sounds. I mean, my favorite Linkin Park album is 1,000 Suns, not even like the heaviest ones. So it's not just about that heavy sound. But I wouldn't have known that I like that stuff if I didn't, if the artist or band didn't hook me in their own way and then transcend me to a different noise, a different sound, So, yeah.
One thing I firmly believe in when being creative is the more genuine you are to yourself, the more people will relate to what you're doing, and they'll be attracted to it. Because for some reason, us as humans, like, we're programmed to be attracted to genuineness, to originality, So sometimes,
that's a good thing.
Sometimes I feel like as artists, the more genuine you are, even if you're trying something new, like, people are going to be attracted to it.
Facts.
They're like, what is he up to? Why is this?
Yeah, completely agree. That's where it kind of loops back to what we're talking about. You gotta stay away from that oversaturation. You gotta keep ringing that bell, like keep pushing that innovation. I think that's the biggest thing. Like you said, that's just a human condition thing, because that applies in everything. It's not just music, in technology. You can't really release the iPhone after an iPhone's already out. You gotta innovate. You gotta go back and think about something new, push it forward.
Although I don't know about the iPhone being a good example. I feel like they've sold us the same phone like 3 years in a row.
It's been the same phone since day one, basically. I'm not gonna lie, but like, another company can't make the iPhone because Apple already does iPhone.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's like now
yeah.
you got to think about something else. You got to. But yeah, iPhone. I get what you're saying. It's the same. It's just
They
it
literally
should be.
just changed the location of the camera. They're like, "Here's a new phone. That's
Yeah,
$1,000 more
insane.
than the last one."
It was wild, dude. I'm petitioning for a new iPhone, dude. Don't even call it iPhone. Just come out with a new line, a new series.
Dude,
I'll
you know
take
what I
that.
want to come back? BlackBerry. I don't know if you ever grew up with
Whoa.
BlackBerry, but BlackBerry was fire. You had the full keypad and the little ball in the middle.
My dad had a BlackBerry, and that was cool. I played Snake on there. That was fire.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
a good one. But
dude.
you want the whole physical keyboard to come back,
Yeah,
or would you
dude.
want them in a different way?
Actually, no, I would like a full keyboard.
The keyboard?
I miss a
Okay.
keyboard. Yeah, I miss
Mm,
the feel, the physical touch of it. Plus, if you break a pixel on your phone, like that whole part of the screen is shot. If you have a
doesn't work.
keyboard, you can still
Yeah.
type.
I mean, those old Nokias never broke. And
Never.
I think I tested that theory like in middle school. I grabbed one and I threw it all the way up, and it fell on like the rockiest rock you could find, and it was harmless.
Not a single scratch. Yeah,
Not a single scratch.
those things were dangerous.
That was a brick, not a phone. No, it was
That's
wild.
for sure.
I mean, you
So,
may be up to something though. If they bring back the physical after all this touch,
dude, I'm
that might
telling
be
you,
fresh to the market of this generation.
look, a bunch of old folks like me, we're all wanting to go back to like flip phones and stuff. We're tired of social media and technology.
Oh, tell me
Like,
about it.
I literally talk to my wife about this all the time, to Noelia. I
Mm.
always tell her the only reason I have social media is because I have a podcast and I need to promote it. If I didn't have a podcast, I would not have any social media. Like I can't stand social media. It's too much. Like
It is.
too
It
much
is.
of everything.
Yeah, yeah. It's blown out of proportion. It's
Yeah.
I'm on the same boat. I do miss that early 2000s. Like I know I was a youngin, but that was a good time.
Yeah, it was the best. It was before we got everything. That was when we started to get it, but we
Yeah.
didn't have it all just yet.
Exactly.
We're still naive.
It's still exactly. It's still naive. Very fresh. That was a good time.
Oh
Definitely a
yeah,
good
for
time.
sure.
Mhm.
So I have a question. So my brother-in-law is, from what I know, is starting a band.
Yep, I heard about that too.
Yeah, and I've heard that you're also involved in said band. And
I
I'm
am.
just curious how this is coming together.
I haven't heard about this band. I'm playing. Yeah, this band totally. It's so Brandon. That's my bandmate, and beyond bandmate, that's my best friend. Really, known him for years since high school. It's it's coming together. Do you mean like how it came together, or how it's going right now? How is it coming?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how it came together, how it started is, I think for me, I've been into music from way before. So like I've been into music since like making music since like 2014. And then when I met Brandon, he knew he knew I make music, and in the beginning he wasn't like showing me interest in that he wants to make music or something like that. But eventually, I actually always thought that he'd been playing the guitar because he's a guitarist. And he's a really good one. And whether he admits it or not, he's very good. So I always thought he's been playing because the way he plays, I'm like, you've been playing for a
he's
minute.
really good. He's gotten really good from when he started to now.
Yeah,
Like it's been drastic.
this has been crazy. Yeah, huge transformation. And so the way he plays made me feel like, oh, he's been playing since before I even know him. But it turns out he's only been playing for like a few years. And so I was like, damn, that's just recent, like pretty fresh. And eventually, it was always like something that me and him would like toss back and forth at each other. We'll be like, oh, we should start a band. And he's like, yeah, we should. And he'll tell it to me like, we should do this. I'll be like, yeah, let's do it. And we never did it. It was always just like at a word at that point, just not beyond words. So he'd always say, let's start it. I'd say the same. And I think we started going to band shows ourselves. Like me and him will go see other bands perform live. And I think that was the catalyst that we needed to kickstart things, because once we like saw it, we're like, that could be us right there. That's us. And so I remember that's when, from our first show that we went to go see with each other, like the first like real one, I think the band that we saw, I'll give them a shout out because they're awesome. They're called Street Lamps. And they're really, really cool. I mean, they were like, got my attention immediately. The singer and the guitarist, the drummer, the bass guitarist, they're all very, very talented. I mean, I walked in, dude, and this guitarist was playing with the cymbal of the drum. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, no way. Yeah.
He took that and he was playing the guitar with it. And he even was using his mouth at one point. I was like, bro, this
That's
is
wild.
some Jimi Hendrix type thing right here.
Yeah.
So that was fire. And, you know, I'd never forget that. But, you know, we saw that and we're like, that we got our word to express out there too. We got our music. So, you know, eventually we did get together. And he was like, we both knew someone from university who plays piano really well. And, you know, we were like thinking about, okay, me and him are interested in making this band. I'd like to be the singer and producer. He'd like to be the guitarist. And we both believe that we can do it really well. So we're like, okay, let's try and figure out the rest of the positions. So as a drummer, his brother, JP, he's great at drums, really great. And he's getting into it. And we're like, okay, that's someone that could drum for us if they're open to it. And so we're like piecing it all together in our head, right? And then we're thinking about, okay, we also need what are the other instruments that we can add, and who do we know? One of the ones that came to mind was the one that we know from university. He's really good at the piano, like insane. Never seen someone better than him. It's crazy. But he didn't turn up too many times. So, you know, I ended up taking the keyboard, and I'm pretty good at that myself. Not to toot my own horn, but with production, you use the keyboard a lot. So when it comes to coming up with things like that, I consider that a part of my production role. Okay. But you know, then the bass guitarist, we have our bass guitarist Mary, and she's an incredible bass guitarist and guitarist. Like, she does amazing, and she's even into singing. So we're kind of like figuring out, like, she's a really good singer too. I mean, her background in coming into music is like really like free form music, like just. She writes lyrics. She comes up with like what she wants to convey, and she's really good at playing the guitar and singing at the same time. So we kind of, and I think Brandon was the one who like knew her. And so we brought all these people together, except for, again, the pianist. I just mentioned him because he was there for, I think, like one day. But you know, the band is really just us four. It's like me, Wazii, and then Brandon and JP and Mary. So that's us four. And honestly, I think it's a blessing to be in the room with all of them, because I feel like all of them are really talented, and they each bring something significant to the sound. You know, and in terms of, I guess, before I jump into how it's going now, like our first like time getting together, we were like just sitting down, having a good time, enjoying each other's vibe, you know, getting to know one another, and just figuring out like, it's what kind of music is everybody into? What do you guys listen to? You know, that was our first couple sessions, just really like getting to know one another. And thinking, also communicating, like, what kind of music do you want to make? Like, what is a band to you? You know, what's that like for you? What do you hope to get out of it? You know, and just getting to know each other better. And so, you know, we had a couple sessions, we're doing that, and to come up with like your sound as a band, because each one of us are mainly used to working alone and making music. So for a lot of us, it's like our first time working with other people making music. I kind of forgot that that's not necessarily the case for me, because when I made music starting, of course, it was just me. But I do have years of experience working with other people. For like, again, like I said, like it was like high school senior year and like early college, my house was the studio for a lot of the people I knew. Some people never made music before would come and make music in my place. I just produced them. And people I do know, like, you know, my friend Samik, you know, Samik, he used to rap. I say used to because he's retired now.
Oh, bro.
Did you know that?
No, I need to find some of his.
Yo, that's crazy.
Please tell me you have something on recording.
Dude, I got a whole hard drive of that stuff.
Oh, dude.
I'm telling you, like, forget Hatsune Miku and Linkin Park. I'm gonna send you a Samik song.
Yeah,
I'm gonna send you all of that. Dude, he used to rap, dude. He used to come over to my place and rap. He used to go by Broke Boy. I don't know if he wants me telling a story, but because he's retired, but he's Broke Boy. He's not broke now, or you know, won't be. So maybe he's just boy now, rich boy.
I can't picture Samik rapping.
He was good, dude. He was good. We have songs together. We literally do. Some of them are even released on SoundCloud. There's one called Scary October that's out there right now.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna have to go find it. I gotta listen to this.
It was cool. Like like that's a whole era of music experience of mine or music background that I a lot of that music is just with me, and we haven't really released too much of it. It was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 guys at my house like every several times a week to make music. It was crazy. It was actually crazy. Like I even had a friend who like stay over like a whole straight month, and me and him would just like make beats and record. Like we have
Dude,
a
that's
lot of
awesome.
music. Yeah, it was a super unique like time for me with music, because it was really the first time I got to making music with other people and just kind of like taking a step back from just recording and, all right, you guys want to make music, let me try and produce that for y'all. So you guys hop in the booth, do whatever you want to do. And I've seen all type of things, dude. Like I've seen some people come in do like the best things, and I've seen some people come in do like, maybe you got to go back to the lab, but we're all here together. No one's like making fun of anybody. We're all here like working together.
So, how did you become a producer in high school? And the reason I ask is because I've always loved music, right? I can make simple beats on Fruity Loops. I know how to work Fruity Loops. I can make very simple things, but
that's heat.
I never got advanced on beat making or anything like that. It's something I've always wanted to learn, but I used to DJ in high school. I think that's why I kind of developed the ear for like, music and like an interest in music. It's why I love hip hop so much. Like I was obsessed with Grandmaster Flash, like all original, hip hop DJs that, I would study them, learn how they did their break beats, how they would do all this stuff. So I've always loved music, but never had the talent to make music.
Don't sell yourself short. You got this.
But it always interests me, like how someone becomes a producer, because everyone wants to be a rapper, everyone wants to be a musician. It's very hard to find people that want to sit in the background and make the beats, because it's tedious.
Definitely tedious. Yeah. I mean, for me, I was definitely that guy who wanted to be like the rapper, the singer. That was always something that interests me. I think that's what got me into music, is thinking like, I want to sing, I want to rap. And that was the foot in the door. I think what made me produce in particular was that I realized that if I want to achieve the sound that I have in my mind, no one's going to do it for me. I'm the one who's going to have to figure that out. So I think I was just really excited to get to the destination, that I didn't really stop to think that I need to learn it. It was just like, okay, what do I got to do? Let's do it. YouTube it, Google it. Just experiment over and over and over. I've done like the most tedious things on a computer. Like I remember first hearing about like manual pitch correction. Not too sure if you know too much about that. And that I remember spending like a long time trying to figure that out. I was just like, okay, I'm going to, instead of like actually knowing how to do it, I'm going to do everything and then see what's the outcome. And like, to say it specifically, I went like, manual pitch correction to have like notes on a piano roll. It could be a vocal, it could be anything. For me, it was vocal. That's what interested me. And I'd like cut everything into like slices, very, very small slices. When you look at it, it's like, why are you doing that? It doesn't make there's no like real use for it. But I was trying to figure out like, how does it move? How does it know how does the computer know what note to register where you're singing? So I like did it all manually. But eventually down the line, I got it and I picked up on the patterns and I was like, oh, this is what it's trying to do. So let me do this to help it. But by the way, I'm not too sure if I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you. Maybe it's me. Let me double check. Maybe my computer just went bonkers. Let me check some.
Should be all locked in. Let me pause the recording real quick.
Yeah, I hear you now. Sorry, my computer just randomly decided to switch my speaker.
No, you're good. You're good.
Nice. But yeah, long story short, getting into producing, I was really just excited about making music, and I was excited about coming up with the sound. When I started, I wasn't making beats. I was more like mixing and mastering. Okay. Very poorly at the time.
Yeah, I was about to say that's the hardest part of having a good quality song is the mastering.
That's kind of where I started. Like after recording, I was always trying to pay attention to the quality. Yeah, I mean, I think anything at first is like difficult when you first like step into it. Once like you try it over and over again, or make 243 versions of the same song, you eventually are like, okay, I picked up on something. And so you do catch a few things. But that interests me. And I think eventually, like when I got with all those guys in high school, like when we all started knowing each other in early college, like that's when I got into beat making. And then I started like making beats. I don't know if There's a TV behind me, that one right there. This
Uh-huh.
old TV right there, and I had it hooked up to. I had a room specifically for making music.
Okay.
So it was like the studio room, and basically what happened was I have that TV hooked up to the computer so everybody who's there can see what's happening. And so eventually some of those guys started making their own beats with me. So like they'll see like how I'm making the beats and stuff like that and how I like mix and stuff, and they'll catch on. And then next thing I know, one of them is like coming up showing me some beats that they made, or they'll start making beats with me. And that was pretty cool because then like it wasn't just me at the computer anymore. And I was like, okay, now it's like a couple of us. It was really like mainly one other guy, if I'm being honest. He like really paid attention and was like really interested. The rest of them were more like vocalists.
Okay.
But again, I've seen, I think the funniest thing I've seen, if I can detour for a second, and I thought this was really like, it's very skillful if you really think about it. But I had someone that would come in and rap and they would never rhyme. But
Okay.
hear me out. Like, that's kind of hard. Think about it. Like
Yeah.
everything you say on the freestyle does not rhyme. Like, isn't it like when you're singing a song, at least by mistake you'll rhyme. You'll be like, da na 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 cat, da na 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 hat. At least like you'll do it by accident. This guy was like, da na 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 house, da na 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 brick, da na 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 speakers. I was like, so I'm like, dude, that's a skill right there. I mean, that could be like its own genre or its own like style.
You never know. It might be. I mean, rapping off beat became a thing.
That's true. That's true. That definitely became a thing. I seen some stuff in that studio room. I won't lie. Like that's an era of music I'll never forget.
Yeah.
And that was the one Samik was there. I didn't really hang out with Brandon too much at that time. It was
Okay.
at least not with music. But yeah, jumping into now, you know, working with a band, it's not like entirely new space for me because I've worked with people before in making music. What is new space for me is, I don't know if it's like that it's not rap music. I don't know what it is, but there's a little more friction when it comes to making music as a band than it is to making music with something that's not a commitment. Like when you make music when I made music with all these folks back in the day, we weren't like a group. We were like, I'm the guy that can help you do this. You want to do that? Let's do it. Release a song under your own name. You know, that's cool. And we both like helped each other out in that way. Really, it was fun for me as well. It was also a learning process.
Yeah.
But with a band, it's like everything that goes into the song is not just yours, it's ours. So I think, you know, there is like a process in a band that's a bit more friction than it is with a feature or something like that.
You have more moving parts and everyone has a bite of the pie, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like figuring out like, okay, we should start there. Or, you know, maybe I feel like this is the best place to start. But then someone else might say, no, let's do this instead. And then you have 4 different voices. And so you have to kind of like, it's very important to include everybody and make sure that they feel like I'm not doing this for just one person. I'm doing this for all of us. Yeah. So it's like the inclusion part of it is very important. And I don't know if friction is the right word to use earlier, but it's just that you have to give things more time. Yeah. Things are not going to be as fast. It's going to be a bit more time. And maybe that's just in the beginning because you're still like figuring things out. How does everybody like to work and what sounds do we want to make? Like, I'll give you an example. There are members in the band, they want to start with making cover songs. And I'm like, cover songs are great, but what if we just jump into making our first song? But then it's like, you know, so it's different like ideas. But you have to think.
You have to have some give and take there.
Exactly. So, you know, to me, even though maybe I don't want to do a cover song, maybe I want to go straight to an original, but maybe pausing and doing what other people want to do to allow that creativity to flow is a good thing, not just for them and for yourself, because you get to learn things that you wouldn't do on your own.
Yeah. That's for sure. I could definitely see how that could be difficult at times.
Yeah.
Because everyone has a different idea. Everyone wants to start differently. And then since there's 4 of y'all, I mean, 2 of them are brothers. So they're always going to side together. So now it's like, how do you beat their vote over other things, you know? So I completely understand that. Yeah,
that does happen.
Do y'all have someone that's like normally your tiebreaker in case y'all can't agree?
I think that's Brandon. Brandon's like the middleman. Like, you know, he'll find a way to like, you know, have everyone also heard. Like he's very good like communicator within the band.
Mhm.
And I think everyone in general also like they give everybody like space and time and like they do that give and take, you know. I think that's something that I am very like blessed to be around, you know, because they hear me out, I hear them out, and I feel like there is a flow there. I think our main like goal right now is just to practice that and to solidify that because we're still
Yeah.
very fresh. We don't even have a name yet, so
Yeah.
we're very very fresh off the curb. So it's just more practice. But I do feel like everybody in the band is very talented, very good people in general,
Mhm.
and I think once we do have like that first song, it's gonna be really nice, and it's
Oh, for
something I've
sure. You
never
know,
done before.
you know what
Mhm.
the beauty of bands is though is like you
Mhm.
can do cover songs. This is something I learned from some other bands we've interviewed, High Dive specifically.
Mm.
Um, what they did when they started was they started writing their songs right off the
Mm.
bat. But every time they practiced, they would practice cover songs.
Mm.
And their first couple songs of every set were cover songs to attract people's attention because it's
Mm.
songs people have heard before. You know,
True.
so you grab their attention, they'll come, and then if it's a song that they can sing along to, they're gonna sing along to it, and then you have them
Mm.
hooked, right?
Mm.
Then you
Exactly.
introduce your music, and you decide whether you keep playing your music or you flop back and forth, you know,
Mm.
between the cover and your music to keep those fans entertained and keep them there wanting to
Mm.
listen to more.
It's a good point.
Something to keep in mind, or at
Yeah,
least think
yeah.
about, you know.
I think the reason I was probably like kind of not with the covers at first, I'm definitely now. I see value in it, and there's a couple
Mhm.
songs I like I want to perform. So yeah, maybe some Linkin Park ones.
Yeah,
Um,
that'd be dope.
yeah, but I think in rap music or hip hop, you don't really see a lot of that, right? I feel like you don't
No,
see a lot of covers in those
you
genres.
hear samples, but not covers.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, they'll sample it, but no covers.
Hmm.
Kind of crazy.
But yeah, man, that's interesting. I'm excited to see what comes out of y'all's band.
Yeah.
And if y'all ever need recording stuff, just let me know. I might have an extra mic or two, or if
Oh,
y'all need to
thank you.
borrow the mixer, the interface. You know, I got
Oh,
8
I appreciate
channels.
that.
It can carry guitar and all the pedals and everything.
Oh, that's
So
fire.
yeah, I
Appreciate
got
you. Thank
XLR
you.
cables. I got everything. Like I
Oh
said,
man.
I'm set up to record in multiple different phases.
Hey, we gotta perform for you one day once we got that down.
I would love to see y'all perform and see what y'all got.
Thank you. Thank you. Me too. I'm excited. I'm definitely excited too. Cause
Yeah, man.
new territory, so it's gonna be awesome.
So are you still gonna do like your own music on the side plus the band stuff, or is your focus solely on the band right now?
No, like I'm definitely I got way too much invested in my own music to pause it. And I still have a lot of creativity. You know, short answer is yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep pushing like my own
Mhm.
music, still working on that. I think there's like two different sounds that come out of that. With a band, it's more of the collective sound, which
Mhm.
means like maybe like not every idea I have will make it, which is totally
Mhm.
fine. I think that's it's like a healthy challenge, and that's something I look forward to.
Mhm.
Um, and then on the other side of it, where it's just the solo music, it's really like it's kind of quicker to get to the finished pro like stage.
Mhm.
But it's also like more just
Your
uh
energy and efforts.
your energy and efforts. Exactly. It's just your input into the song.
Mhm.
So I think those will produce two different kinds of music.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm definitely still gonna make my own music too. I got some new songs coming soon too.
that's awesome. You know that's one of the things that I wish, like, you know, especially with bands that break up.
Mm,
Usually it's because someone wants to have their own solo thing, but the band's
mm,
so against it
mm,
that they end up breaking apart, or you know, things happen like that. It's known to happen in bands.
for sure.
Um, I wish more bands were like would support, you know, going and doing your own solo project, seeing
Yeah.
how you fend for yourself along as well as like doing stuff with the band. Like I think that's one of the things that I love about Wu Tang Clan the best. About like, have you ever listened to Wu Tang Clan, or do you know how their story worked out?
I don't know too much about them. I maybe have heard a
Okay,
couple songs, but I
so
can't name too
so
much.
the producer, the RZA, produced all Wu Tang Clan projects,
Mm,
but he was super smart with the way he did things because when Wu Tang got signed on, he signed Wu Tang as its own label. And then each individual artist got to sign their own label record deals with other labels. So they would produce their Wu-Tang Clan album, where all these guys were amazing MCs and amazing writers. So they would try to outdo each other on every Wu-Tang collaborative album.
Wow.
But then their solo projects were just as good as that because they were doing their own thing, pushing their own sound.
Yeah.
But then you'd hear them come together for the Wu-Tang Clan, what is it? 76 Chambers, and it's just like them firing at each other. Like it was just, it's a beautiful form of expressing that art because you see both sides.
Yeah, 1,000%. I don't think that would even, I'm not too sure why bands are against having that, because it's not like it'll take away from their fan base or anything like that.
It'll grow.
It'll grow, yeah, because if I found out that my favorite artist is a part of a band, I'm gonna check out that band. Or if I found out that my favorite band has solo music, I'm still gonna check that out if I really like them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I know a couple of my favorite bands that have that. So that's yeah. That would definitely be interesting to see more like happen more.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. And like I said, I'm glad you're still gonna work on your solo projects as well.
Appreciate
I would love
it.
to hear more of your music come out.
Thank you, bro. Yeah.
Yes,
No,
sir.
definitely. I got some cool stuff on the way, and some of them are like the older stuff, and some of them are like the newer stuff, and they're kind of way two different vibes. Hope I don't like shock you with the
That's
waves.
okay. I like change. I like seeing people transform into their best self, and sometimes their projects go with them. It's a different aspect of your life, a different story, a different time. It's okay to change. Just be genuine to yourself.
I respect that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. But so we're running a little late, so I figured let's go on to our next segment. That way we can move this forward. I mean, we are almost at 2 hours. That's getting kind of late, so let's move on to the next segment. Sure. But before we get into Spill the D, our listener confession segment, let me tell you our listeners about our friends at Honeysuckle Brand. Summer's here and your vibe's still in hibernation. Nah. Honeysuckle Brand and the Mood Room Garden Bar got you what you need to get your soul right. Whether you're pulling up for a live set or just trying to sip and flirt in the greenery, this is where H-Town turns sultry. So go check out Honeysuckle Brand and the Mood Room Garden and Bar, located on 711 Milby Street in Houston, Texas. You can also order all your THC products from Honeysuckle Brand. Get you some of this delicious, refreshing nectar seltzer. It'll absolutely blow your mind, and it'll set the vibe just right. So go check them out. The link will be in the show notes and the bio. Honeysuckle Brand. Get your vibe right. All right.
Hey.
Hyped up, heavy 808s, drop.
Hey, it's time to let it go, let it ride. Spill the D, don't run, don't hide. Danny G, AOZ on the mic tonight. Anonymous confessions, let's shed some light.
All right. So before we go into Spill the D, Wazii, I just want to let you know this is a segment of the show where we ask our listeners to send us confessions, questions, am I the assholes, whatever's on their mind, and we let them get it off their chest here.
Fire.
It's usually you can either send it anonymously through Instagram at the Weekly D Pod. There's always a little Instagram link there where you can send us anonymous messages. They can also send it to us using X at the Weekly D Pod with the hashtag Spill the D, or they can email the Weekly D at Weekly D. Or Wazii.
Fire.
Are you ready for our first question?
I am ready.
Okay, this question is from a listener who submitted their question through X. It's at HTownLoverboy93. He said, Wazii, have you ever taken an opportunity that sounded like a big break but ended up going absolutely nowhere?
Bruh, I already know what I'm thinking. Yeah. Wait, is this rapid fire? Am I supposed to answer quickly, or this is just my answer?
These are just listener questions and answers.
Okay. Because I know one. Dude, I immediately came to my mind. When I was in high school, I was always trying to do things to open new doors and make more opportunities. And sometimes I do that too much. So there's one time where I was DJing, and I'm not even a DJ, but I DJ'd for a bit because I was like, that's what they needed. So let me get my foot in the door, right? There was DJing parties. I'm not gonna name drop anything, but I was DJing parties, and I remember I did not get paid. And I was DJing for free. I would stay up till the AM, for these parties, and be DJing for him. And I remember even like there was a day where I got into a fit with the guy throwing the party. I don't remember what it was about, dude. It was like he was just way too drunk, and I remember he got like agitated for nothing. And so yeah, that was the day that I was like, I'm just gonna pack up my stuff and I'm gone because I'm not getting anything out of this. So yeah, I took an opportunity to DJ for quote unquote exposure, but that's not exposure. That's called free labor. So I never did that shit again. This
Oh
yeah.
man, that's funny. Oh dude, we've done. I've gone through similar things, man.
Yeah.
We did this. When was it? It was 2020. I want to say it was right post COVID, 2020. Have you ever heard of meme coins like Dogecoin and things like that?
Bro, yeah, I lost some money in that, but yeah.
Okay, 2020, Dogecoin is popping. You know, it's on its rise, almost to a cent. We get involved with like the Dogecoin community on X, and we meet this guy named Greg. This guy named Greg he's like, we've never seen a picture of him, never really saw him. He was just some face on X that had like a blank avatar, and he starts talking to us about this music festival he was going to do here in Houston that was going to be 100% funded by Dogecoin. Okay.
Okay.
A music festival
That's
was
a red
called
flag, but okay.
Dogepalooza.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a real music festival. You can Google it. It really happened.
What's it called again?
Dogepalooza.
Wow. Okay.
It happened here in Houston or in Sugarland at Constellation Field in 2020. We were involved with this, and our job as a podcast was to promote up and coming artists. And the big seller to us was that we would have a Grammy award-winning artist on our podcast. Right? So we were in. We're like, this is our big break, right? Like, we're going to get a Grammy-nominated artist. And then they mentioned that we'd have someone from Wu-Tang Clan. So me being a huge Wu-Tang Clan, I was like, I'm ready to risk it for this, right?
Wow, that's crazy.
We get to interview Dionne Warwick. Have you ever heard of her?
I don't think so.
Okay. She is a very famous artist from the Motown era. Okay. She is a Grammy-nominated or Grammy award-winning singer.
They didn't lie, okay.
But from the Motown era. So her relevance isn't really there. And she was the headliner at this music festival. Okay.
Misleading.
So first red flag.
Yo.
Besides the Doge, it being funded by Doge. That was a red flag. Okay.
Second red flag.
We meet her son, DJ Nomad. Now, I don't know if you know this, but DJ Nomad is actually a really big name in the
Sounds
music
familiar.
world. He's worked with Britney Spears. He's worked with like all sorts of people. We also have him on the podcast for about 15 minutes. That was dope. I was like, all right, you know, that made up for the whole Dionne Warwick thing. Like, we're on the right path. We go to this music festival. Not a single ticket was sold.
Wow.
All the people that were there were people that were in the same X group that we were in. They got free tickets to help promote the event. So not a single ticket was sold. We hyped up so many of our friends to perform here. They performed for $0 on the contingency that there's going to be a crowd of at least 1,000 people.
Wow.
So at the end of the day, like, it was bad for us. Like, we looked like dumbasses because we hyped up this whole music festival, gave out free tickets, told our friends about it. They all performed. There's probably less than 200 people.
Wow. That's
counting
that's
employees.
What'd you say?
Counting the employees of the stadium.
No, that's insane. That's insane. Misleading, dude.
It was bad, dude.
That's like I wouldn't even say like you're not the dumbass. That's like secondhand dumbass because that's like their fault for telling you that stuff.
Dude, they hyped us up. They sold us. They sold it like we're about to be like the biggest thing ever. Nope.
Dude, how do you like refrain from that happening again? Like, is there like a
don't trust anybody? No, play. I mean, here's the thing with it, right? Is like when you're trying to carve your own path in the business of entertainment, like sometimes you gotta ask yourself, is it worth taking a risk? And 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be like, exposure, that's worth the risk, you know, because we're all playing a numbers game. More numbers, more eyes on the podcast, more listeners, more sponsorships. So, I mean, I think I would think twice about what kind of event we'll be promoting if we are.
Yeah.
Like if it has
Yeah.
after that, like I haven't trusted anything with cryptocurrency. I
Oh,
sold
yeah.
everything. I was like, I'm out. Like this. I was like, in my head, I was like, this was a money laundering scheme, and we just got tied
Damn.
into it. I was like, I don't want the FBI knocking at my door. I don't need the IRS at my door.
That's
I
insane.
was like, I'm just gonna separate myself from all this.
Yeah, at that point, it's just not worth it, right?
Yeah.
You do. I think I even learned about this at some like university professor told me there's a term for this. I forget what it is, but it's a real thing where like people take advantage of people who are trying to make a name for themselves because they're trying to make a name for themselves. So they know that they'll take more baits, or some people even work for free. That was my issue. Yeah, you really gotta preserve yourself and preserve your energy and protect you and your business and everything that you're doing, you know? So I feel like these days, like the best thing is just that organic way. You always need your own way first of building your platforms. And then, you know, when these like secondary things come along, that's when it's a potential. But like you said, you do got to really research if they're authentic.
But I think my thing now is like learning from that experience is build a relationship with the person before you agree to do anything. Like, like after that, like I told you, we've rebuilt this podcast to try to be like, I realized that the only way this podcast was going to work was to be authentic to ourselves, be genuine, and not try to be something we're not. So, you know, we've embraced our culture as Hispanics. We've embraced the Houston culture and just kind of ran with that. So we've met a bunch of new people, a bunch of different groups. And it's like now, like even with our sponsorships, like I won't take a sponsorship that I haven't tried their product. Like if I haven't tried it and I can't trust it, I will not promote it. I refuse to. Even if I'm the little guy in the picture, like I refuse to promote something that I don't believe in.
Yeah.
You know, like
1000%.
Tabs, I bought their product way before I reached out to them for a sponsorship. I tried it, I liked it, and I was like, all right. Same thing with Honeysuckle, and their nectar seltzers. Oh, that lighting's not great. But like these guys, I met the owner. I've been friends with the owner for about 4 years now. We have a good relationship, and you know that's why I promote his product. I was like, that's the only way I would do these things now. Is if I don't have a relationship with you, like I'm not pushing anything.
Yeah, that's very smart and wise. It's safe, and it's, I don't mean safe as in like it's a safe route. I mean like that's security. That's like honest. You know, 1000%.
Yeah,
I respect that. That's how, if any of you are out there, you know, seeing this right now, or not right now, but when it gets posted, that's how you know the sponsors ain't fake.
Yeah, they're legit.
Yeah, you got to be legit.
They're legit, tried and tested. That's for sure.
Yes, I know who to go to for advice on products. That's fire.
Yeah, man. Like I said, it's just I'm all about trying to be as genuine as possible. Like I don't want, with this podcast, with everything I do, I try to be me, and I hope people like it. And some people won't. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, totally. You know, I won't lie. I was just thinking about that today because this is like my, you know, I appreciate you having me on. This is like my first real interview for music. Like, you know, no, I've never really I never really spoke outward for this long about my music or just even myself like that. So that's, you know, coming into this, I was thinking like, dude, I don't want to put on a persona. I'm just going to be me. I'm just going to do me, you know, because you see a lot of like celebrities or artists or rappers, whatever it is, they always put on a persona or something like that. And I'm like, that's, you know, I really thought about it. I'm like, the people that I'm mostly listening to, the people I actually keep up with are people who don't put on personas. They're just themselves because they're very, you know, you relate to them because that's what we all as people go through. So,
exactly.
You know, I completely agree with you 1000%.
Yep. Awesome.
None of that Cali Two-Face. No, I'm kidding. Nah. I've never been to Cali. I did hear that. You know, it'd be interesting to check that out.
Yeah. It's a different place, man. It's something to keep an eye out for.
The Hollywood effect.
That's for sure. Where everyone's trying to get somewhere, right?
Yeah. Facts.
All right. Here's another question for you. This one's from Instagram at BeatBabeBree. She asked, what's one sound or sample you've been dying to flip but haven't figured out how to make it work yet?
I think for me, I used to sample a lot growing up, that I think I sampled everything I wanted to so far. But these days, I think it would be to sample myself. Because I make a lot of my sounds now, I don't sample. But it would be really interesting to sample something I've made and then flip it into a different way and make it work.
Oh, that would be cool.
Right?
That would be cool. Dude,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, since I've heard it Can't Flop, like I can hear that song in my head as an EDM song.
Oh.
And I'm just
Remix.
I need to get some turntables and
Yo.
and I'm gonna try to dabble with it, see if I can get it to sound the way I hear it in my head.
I gotta hear that. That sounds epic.
Yeah, man.
I actually can see the vision. EDM for that song. I can kind of hear that.
I can hear a hard beat drop and just build a great build up with it.
Dude.
Just like it's all in my head. Every time I hear that song, it pops right back up. I'm like, I can hear this. I need to remix it. I just need to get some turntables again.
I gotta hear that, dude. I've actually been kind of getting into EDM myself. I don't know if it's really EDM, but just like more electronic music.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been cool. The funny thing about Can't Flop. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The funny thing about Can't Flop is I have a few different versions of it. I mean, outside of the 243 versions, I have a couple different like versions with different beats, and one of them is a rock one.
Okay.
I don't know if that's
I'm curious how that would sound. I bet it works. Just because it's such a simple song that it could work so many ways. Like literally.
Hey, respects. I kind of liked it. I was almost gonna release it that way, but I was like, I like the original one. That's like the OG. So maybe I should release a remix in the future or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I feel like remixes should come back.
They should.
Let's take some songs and remake some of the best ones.
Yeah, no, that's fire. We do gotta bring that back.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Wazii. Yeah. All right, we're at the last part of the interview.
Sure.
This is where we ask Wazii some rapid fire questions. Again, they're completely random. There's no planning behind these. I had a list of questions and I just randomly picked some. Okay?
Okay. Okay, so just first thing that comes to mind.
First thing that comes to mind. All right?
Okay. I'm gonna try not to think too much. Let's get it.
Literally just first thing that comes to mind. A lot of these are like this or that. So it's either this or it's that. There's some where you may have to think a little bit harder, but just try to answer as fast as possible, okay?
Be authentic. Okay.
All right. Favorite fast food?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Nice. Okay. A night in the studio or a night on stage?
Oh, a night on studio. A night in the studio.
Night in the studio?
Yeah. It's a hard question. Okay,
That one is a little bit harder.
Yeah. A night on stage. I take that back. A night on stage.
Night on stage.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta love the energy.
All right. Late night Whataburger runs or early morning Shipley runs?
None. Late night Whataburger. Yeah. That's better than waking up to donuts.
Right.
That.
Beach day or block party?
Beach day.
Beach day? Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Very nice. All right. Do you prefer to live in the city or in the country?
In the country. I live in the city now, and I'm ready to go to the country when it's ready.
Dude, I lived in Needville for a little while. I absolutely loved it. I actually kind of hate that I live in Sugar Land.
Oh wait, is that the country or is that the city?
No, like countryside, like.
Oh, so okay.
Like
that's where you want to go to.
Yeah.
Dude, it's different. It's very different. Sugar Land's still like, it's not entirely like city. Like I'm like Galleria area city.
So, okay. Yeah, no, that's city.
Yeah, but no, I love Sugar Land. Actually, I would move out there one day.
Yeah,
or the country. Yeah.
I don't know. I like to really like be out on your own kind of vibe that I got from Needville.
Same. You can't be too loud on the mic with that when you're on your own.
Yep, that's for sure.
Facts.
All right, next one. Get paid or get famous?
Get paid.
Nice.
Paid. Famous.
Fame's not all that great.
Money's a resource.
All right, chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate, all the way.
All right. Hot or cold?
Chocolate. Hot.
I
don't know why.
All right, last one. What's your favorite position?
Singer.
Nice.
Singer and producer.
All right. This is an open-ended question. Just answer to the best of your abilities, all right?
I got you.
All right. My name is Wazii, and I am
A singer, songwriter, and aspiring movie director.
boom. Nice. I like that one. You're gonna make the next Spider-Man, right?
Hey, yes.
With the full
Cast
soundtrack.
me. With the full soundtrack. Cast me. I'm
Hell
telling you.
yeah.
I can play all the roles. I'll be director and actor. I'll do it.
There you go. Hell yeah, man. Well,
Yeah.
this is the end of the show, Wazii.
Oh,
At this
man.
point, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show. And this is your chance to
Yeah.
promote anything you have coming up. Go ahead and promote your social medias. Let the people know where they can find you, where they can find your music.
Definitely. Thank you, man. My social media, you can find me on Instagram, Wazii Music. That's Uazii Music, one word. You can also find me on YouTube with that name, and those are pretty much the platforms I'm on. You can also find me at waziiwaseem.com. That's WAZII M as in Mary, not N, as my bandmate, and .com. And maybe I'll eventually get waziimusic.com if someone doesn't steal it because I just said it.
Nice.
Okay.
This man does have a full actual website. I clicked on it the other day to see what was on there. Yeah.
Hey, I'm trying to still like make it better. Right now it's like a splash page of all the social media. But I'm gonna make it a fun place. I want to put
Nice.
some underground music on there, a couple of cool
Dude,
stuff.
some
man.
BTS would be cool. Some behind the scenes
Yes,
of the
some behind
band.
the scenes. I actually got some behind the scenes I recorded recently.
Oh,
That's
nice.
coming soon. Yeah.
Yes.
There's some
Awesome.
music coming out soon too. No
Hell yeah,
particular
man.
ones, but it's on the way. Keep an eye.
Awesome, man. I'm excited to hear it. Again, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Danny. I appreciate it. I had an amazing time. This is my first interview, and I love it.
And awesome. I'm glad to hear that. That's always my goal, to have a great time, get to know you a little bit better, let the
Likewise.
listeners get to know you, and, just go from here. I'm excited to see where your career goes from here, what you do next. And just remember, every person we interview on this podcast becomes part of the Weekly D family. So anytime you need to promote anything, need help, just reach out to us. We'll post on all our social medias. We'll put your stuff out there, your music out there. We're actually working on getting together a playlist of new music every Friday, at least once a
Ooh.
month. So, just make sure you reach out to us. That way we got everything updated.
Definitely. I'd love to listen to that. I want to see what other guys got, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That'd be fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can actually find, there's a playlist on Spotify. Unfortunately, it's on Spotify. But it's Weekly D
Awesome.
Radio.
Mm.
It has music from every artist we've had on this podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got Spotify on the PC, and I know it's free there. So
Oh, yeah, check it out.
I can use that. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, it's
Definitely.
called Weekly D Radio. It's a playlist on Spotify. It has
Weekly
every
D
artist
Radio.
we've had on this podcast to date.
Wow. Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. I
We're
will
going to
check
get
that
at it
out.
on that too. So
Yeah, oh, thank you.
definitely be on the lookout. But yeah, man, thank you
100%.
so much. Thank you to all the listeners. If y'all like what you heard, please give us a thumbs up, 5-star review. Go follow our Instagram, our Twitter at Weekly D Pod. Reach out to us through email, weeklydpod@gmail.com. Go check out our YouTube channel, Paper Plate Media, that has all the Weekly D podcasts, as well as our brother podcast, Accidental Chaos, where you can listen to all things nerdy. Again, this has been the Weekly D Podcast. I'm your host, Danny G. That was Wazii. And remember, if you can't get it daily, get it weekly. Peace.
Yes. Peace.
Oh, get flop. Yeah, get flop. Oh, get flop. Yeah, get
Pressure's up, stakes are higher, and we still don't miss. Foot on the gas, no pit stop. Baseline booming like a gunshot. From the 7-word dream to the mountaintop. Build this lane to the screenshot. Every node just fueled apply. Every stage turned it high. Did it raw, no Photoshop. Told them once I came